Albany Medical College tries to train primary care practitioners who would go out either to rural or urban locations. I grew up in a small town in Sullivan County. I grew up in the resort business. As someone who grew up there, I grew up with the traditional general practitioner who took care of my whole family and actually had known my family for more than one generation. The doctor who was my family doctor was my role model, basically, in growing up, of the kind of person who you would want to be if you were a physician. And the relationship that we had shows you how you need to understand the full person as opposed to just their illness. That human factor is something that I have tried to instill in the medical school curriculum and in the medical students who we have been training. Dr. John Ruggie and myself were amongst the early sort of supporters of the concept of the area health education centers in New York State. And we believed that having AHECs functional would help support the healthcare providers and would add to the quality of life of the community. In order to enhance the quality of medical care, healthcare practitioners need to participate in continuing education. It's very difficult in the rural area to get time off to be able to go for continuing education. So we have been working with the AHEC to establish online means of doing continuing education. Continuing education for the future will have to demonstrate that it affects the health of the public. So with this in mind, we are going to be developing programs that will allow practitioners to stay where they are in order to learn for the future. The medical center is a trauma center. We have helicopter resources that will go and bring people from other sites, and this allows the population living in an isolated area to have the same resources that a high volume urban center would have. But our main function, I think, is to serve as the resource for education, professional development, and specialty support. We know that people who practice in rural areas usually have a background of having grown up in a rural area. And the people who grow up in rural areas enjoy the congenial way that a community exists. They like the fact that they would know everybody in the community knows them, and they usually gravitate in that direction. Overall, people who live in rural communities really like that lifestyle, and we often just need to expose people to that lifestyle.